What are we talking about? No misogyny. We're trying to get rid of misogyny out of the community, guys. Okay. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think, unless you watch the stream, I don't think people even know the impetus for the action. My mind is so fucked up by you guys being fucking retarded that, when I was doing the first Change My Mind day, I think the conversation I was having with that girl, was really good, and all I could think of the entire time was if I keep this conversation going, everybody's just gonna call me a simp. Like, I need to cut it off. It's going on for too long. And I realized after it, I was like, I can't believe my brain is so fucked up on my community. This is so dumb. So we're getting rid of all ironic and unironic misogyny. It's all gone. I'll check back in 3 months and I'll see where the community's at. But I think you guys are unironically, like, hating women. Like, it's too much. So, can you define misogyny? No, I won't. You'll know when you get banned for it. I'm not going to play that game. I'm like, oh, you didn't specific. You'll know. If you hate women, you're going to get banned. It's going to be detected. Okay? I've got an expert moderator out there. Okay? In the streets in ways that you guys aren't even aware. Okay? So, you might have heard his name. He'll ban you with little forethought. You know who he is. I don't know why people make these comments. Hold on. Will you take actual responsibility for this? It didn't just happen. I just said we're getting rid of it. That means I'm getting rid of it too. I don't know if these are like retarded like gotchas or you're trying to like win like a debate against something that it's not debating. Yeah, obviously I'm cutting down on my comments too. You're a sub, so you only get a 12-hour ban for being fucking retarded. Can we still hate Lav at least? You can hate whoever you want. Just don't be misogynistic about it. What will be different this time? We've gone through this 2 times before, because usually I've soft banned it and I've relied on community self-moderation, and usually I've let like kind of jokes stay, but now I'm getting rid of all of it. I don't think you guys can engage with it. I think the problem is that it's like literally I'm making a diversity argument. Like, you can't make these types of jokes at a community with like 97% men. It's always going to lend itself to like hardcore unironic misogyny. I think that's just always how it goes. What about not safe for work posting? Didn't I just, hold on, you can go take a 7-day break. 3-day break. Do you think we hate Lab because she's a woman or because she's stupid? Probably both. But the problem is if it's both, it's hard to pick out like when it's like just hating the person versus when you're just like hate women. And I've made the same comparisons over and over again. Like there are some women. The Britney stuff was like a huge one where the hatred is just like disproportionate. It's just like unbelievable. And then stuff like when you guys were hitting Lauren, there were also like a billion fucking Coomer comments too, which is just like really weird. Like there doesn't need to be it. Like we can do without. And then like I said, I'll probably check back in a few months, and then I'll see how I feel about things. Then we'll go from there. But for now, we're just axing all of it. We might nuke the Coomer emote. I haven't decided on that yet. Will porn get banned in offline chat? Probably, most likely. Haven't fully thought about it yet, but I don't think there's much pros to having porn around. Like, I don't know if like it makes chat a better place at all. The people that build a reputation off of posting porn is kind of weird. Like, my ultimate envision for like not safe for work posting is that like, oh, if you have like a not safe for work link and you really want to post it, like you can share it or whatever, that's fine. But I don't think I ever originally envisioned like the hardcore Coomer spam posting where it's like the stream goes offline and like 12 chatters like engage the whole chat with their fetish by like showing everybody what they've been like stroking their dick to. Just seems like, I don't know why. Like, there's very, very, very little upside, and the downside, I think, is that it like reinforces the kind of like boys club of the chat. So Someone in YouTube chat, I don't want to do these arguments all day, but it's the quality of women you bring to the stream, not just like the fresh and fit guys. Lava's not different to any of those chicks. First of all, she is. If you can't see that, you need to talk to more people or do more things. You're just wrong. Even if she's annoying or dumb about a lot of things, which she is, it's a different it's a different quality of character. But the, hold on one second. Do it default off, not safe for work. It's just, no, here's the thing, like, why? Like, do we need not safe for work links in chat? I'm not actually sure, do we? Aren't these the jokes men tend to make? In all circles of dudes around the world I've met, these jokes exist. Might be an unwinnable battle. I don't think it's unwinnable. We'll see. We just need better representation in chat, okay? We can do it, I believe in you guys. Poll not safe for work? No, I'm not gonna pull it. This ain't a democracy, okay? One man already made the mistake of thinking that. And he's 6 feet under now, so. Look, I read it on my factory smelters. Are you proud of me? Not safe for work links, good for war footage? Just use not safe for life links. Why would you use not safe for work links for war footage? What? Okay. Fuck. We're gonna do a meme, but then I think I've banned, the Fuentes bridge is perma burning, I guess, or maybe not, but who knows. I need to do what I need to do on my side of the internet, and I don't think anybody understands it. Definitely not Max. Max is like the last person in the world that can be involved in the stuff that I do. I think when he wanted to have these conversations relating to the Nazi stuff, I think I should have just not had those conversations publicly ever with him, because he had nothing of value to say to me on that matter, and everything that he's had to say afterwards has been entirely worthless. Not only worthless, but it's been poisoning like parts of my community and like the overall discourse related to anything that is going on. So the problem. Okay, I've talked with Supreme a little bit offline about this. I'll be more candid now, I guess, about stuff relating to Fuentes, okay? So, actually, I don't actually care. I'll just be open about everything related to Fuentes now, because I don't know if that whole thing is dead, okay? So here's just some stuff, okay? Sanitizing Nick Fuentes would be bad. I agreed to that. I did not sanitize Nick Fuentes. Demonizing Nick Fuentes is also bad. I did not demonize Nick Fuentes. The thing that needs to happen, in my opinion, to take apart somebody's view of the world is they have to be humanized. They have to be. People mistake the idea of humanizing somebody with sanitizing somebody. And I didn't realize this until halfway through my interactions with Nick because of emails that I'd gotten from Nick's fans. So the problem with sanitizing somebody, what does sanitizing mean? Sanitizing means that you take somebody and you make their views seem better than they actually are. Never done that with Nick in my entire life. If you think I have, you're wrong. You just haven't watched our conversations. However, the opposite of sanitizing somebody's views is not holding their feet to the fire or holding them accountable. The opposite is demonizing somebody. The problem with, hold on. When I ban you for topics that are around this thing, I'm not banning you because I'm mad at you, or I'm not banning you because I think you said something mean or wrong. I'm banning you because I don't want you in my community because you're toxic poison. And I want you to go fuck off to Hassan or Vash's community. I don't want you being anywhere around me because you are the worst type of person in the world. And I don't want you near my shit. That when I'm banning you for these types of conversations, don't email or ask for an unban. I just don't want you in my community. It's like a personal thing. It's not like you broke a rule. It's like I don't want you here at all. Just as a heads up. Okay, so sanitizing somebody's views are bad because when you do that, you give people the impression that they're not as radical as they actually are, or that they are just that they're not as radical as they actually are. Like, oh, well, this is a normal thing, or this isn't that extreme, or blah, 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 right? The problem with a demonization of somebody, though, which is what MrGirl wants to do, ironically enough, saying, and I know he's going to have like 50 million. He's like, well, I'm not talking about demonizing them. I'm just thinking about he'll have like a way to MrGirl his way out of the conversation, but I'm not interested in playing the word games right now. I'm just being frank, right? The problem with demonizing somebody, it's the same issue when you think about Nazis, okay? Like, Nazis are people that are fundamentally evil, and I could never be a Nazi, and I think that, like, there's just something wrong with all of their brains, okay? That's not true, okay? Every Nazi was a human being, and every human being has the potential to be a Nazi. Okay, you have to understand that. That is an incredibly important thing to understand. Because given the right set of circumstances, you've got things like the Milgram experiment that, show how many people will be pushed to deliver a 300-volt shock to somebody on the other end, even when they stop responding, okay? And there's a whole bunch of other, like, social psych experiments that show that people can, like, defer commands to people, that people can be conditioned to do crazy things, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. People in certain environments can be made to do things that seem inhuman just because of the environments they're in. It's not even something, I don't even care to argue that. It's just like it's a fact of the matter. So demonizing somebody is not good because you make it seem like those particular political beliefs can only be held by a demon. Only an inhuman person could ever believe something like racism or sexism or homophobiaism or deadbeat dadism, right? Only a crazy person can believe that, okay? So my goal is not to sanitize. I'm fighting against people that are demonizing. My goal is to humanize. That actually is my goal. I do want people to see Fuentes as a normal human being who eats chicken and waffles and can hang out with people and blah, 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 blah. Because it's important to, one, recognize in other people that plenty of people can hold these types of beliefs. And two, recognize that you at some point in your life can hold those types of beliefs. It probably would only take 2 or 3 bad friends, 2 or 3 weeks to start to significantly shift your opinions on things just through humor, and you don't realize it. Most people think they'd be impervious to it. You're not. I don't even know if I would be. I think if I had the right set of friends, I might find myself thinking weird things in a couple of weeks if we said certain jokes or did certain things after a period of time, okay? Most of the positive emails that I received from, okay, let me back up one more step. When I'm looking at like, 2 things clicked for me a little bit ago. One had to do with math, and the other had to do with like the Groyper community. And when I'm trying to figure out like, okay, well, who are these people? Why did they believe the things they do? What kind of community is it? When I don't remember. I don't know if I've said this on stream or this has just been in private chats. I think this has just been in private chat so far. When people think of the Groyper community, people will look at the Groyper community and think that like it's this highly radical group of people that log into chat getting marching orders from Fuentes so that they can like gear up, go prepare with like their white nationalist friends for the incoming revolution, get ready to stage a secondary January 6th event, boom, 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 boom. This is like what a Groyper is, okay? Number 1 threat to democracy, peace, freedom, and security of the United States. I think that what a Groyper actually is I think that there's like a collection of people that are like pretty lonely, don't have very many friends, don't feel like there's many people in society that are like speaking at them. And they kind of have like a community where they feel like they can go and hang out, and they have like their racist memes, but it's like a place where basically you go, you type, Nick is funny, you laugh with him, you laugh with your fellow community members. Yeah, you make a lot of racist and anti-Semitic jokes, but it's like your community. It's like your place on the internet that you feel like you belong, and it's the only place in the community that like can understand you or hear you out. And that's like the lens that I view the Groyper people through. I don't think that it's through some hyper-radicalized extremist military fascist faction ready to conduct World War III, like the second Revolutionary War in the United States. I think this is a group of like pretty lonely dudes, not even all white really, but just like a group of like pretty lonely young Zoomer men that kind of like feel lost, and Nick is kind of like this charismatic voice that carries them through the darkness essentially. So with that in mind, so there are a couple of goals or things that I have when it comes to dealing with Nick. So one is trying to be relentlessly good faith to show that there are people that will not only like listen to you, but people that like will even let you make a few mistakes and like still try to like advocate for you in your corner, which I did relentlessly with Nick. Even if it didn't ultimately work on him, I got a lot of emails from people. The emails that I got, the words that I got, so what people I think are looking for is like, wow, Destiny, you de-radicalized me, and now I'm a social democrat, and I love trans people, and blah, 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 blah. That wasn't the type of messages that I normally got. Usually what it was these were like the interesting emails to me. It was people basically saying like, I used to see Nick as this like unassailable God figure who was kind of like the leader of my movement online. And when I see you guys hanging in real life, what I realize is that Nick is kind of just like a nerdy, normal dude, like kind of like me. And it was really interesting to like see him in that perspective. That basically like seeing that he's kind of like an awkward, funny dude in real life, just like changed the way that they kind of viewed Nick. It made him seem a lot less untouchable as like a figure, and that maybe he wasn't like this kind of like untouchable god person that they'd seen on stream a lot. So I think a lot of the actions that people saw me take in terms of like, oh my God, you're humanizing Nick, that's horrible. I think that humanizing him in front of his audience is good because I don't think they view him as a human. A lot of the people see him as almost like a deity, like this figure that like is like this god emperor that's like leading them through the darkness, the shepherd leading the sheep, and blah blah blah. I think showing him in a more human light, where it's like, look, this is like a normal dude. He laughs, he's kind of awkward, blah blah blah, is like the first step towards kind of like moving people in this idea of like, okay, we shouldn't worship people online, and this guy isn't like a perfect, unattackable god. And then it also makes me a bit more endearing to them, ideally as well, because I'm the one that's like kind of facilitating this process. The problem is that one, that process is really hard to do in the open because I can't say like, I understand you guys are all lonely fucking losers, so let me be nice to you, because it sounds weird and condescending. But two, if I don't say that, I've got these weird games being played in the background where people like MrGirl or a lot of you guys are acting like the stakes are like the end of the fucking world if like you don't do this actually perfectly. Like you're playing a really risky fucking game here. You're gonna fuck up. Like if you fuck up, it's the end of the world. It's not the end of the world, and there is nothing to fuck up here. Not to be rude towards Nick, but the reality is that I'm in the best position of my life to practice this type of conversation because Fuentes has a hardcore social ceiling on where he can ever go to. He's never growing on me on Twitter. He's never growing on me off of like YouTube subs. He's never like going back on Twitch. Like the guy's vertical ascent is like dead on arrival. Like there's nowhere for him to go. He can't go up. So like the risk, even if I fumble and fuck up everything, the risk isn't really there in terms of like Nick exploding into some figure. He's not going to be the next president of the United States. He's not, like his political future is fairly dead unless he radically changes his platform. There is no risk there. Now, I can't say this publicly in the past because it makes it look like I'm kind of like shitting all over and blah, 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 blah. But it's why there's only a wave of fascist legislation in motion. No biggie, Destiny. Lost Highway, I'm permabanning you from my channel. I just want you to know that I know for a fact that if I were to pull you into my Discord right now and ask you to define fascism, you would stumble over yourself like the disgusting fucking loser you are, okay? Go back to your college campus. Go suck off your fucking sociology professor. Get the fuck out of here, you loser fuck. And make sure that after you swallow their cum, you use the they, them pronouns that I'm sure that they refer to themselves as, okay? You fucking loser. Get the fuck out of my chat. Yeah, so ultimately the goal was, look, Fuentes is like a human dude. We're chill, we're cool, everything is fine. This is a normal human being. Like you can have normal human being conversations with this person. You don't have to be like, feel like you're lonely and so like crazy shit. And I even started to see some level of integration with like Groyper people into my chat in non-toxic ways. So like the Kai Clips guy is actually like fairly funny. And generally when he's in my chat, he's not acting like fucking insane. He's not being like a crazy Groyper, blah, blah, blah. And there are a few people, some that you don't know about, that are like participating in my community and in my chat. And then everybody's looking like, oh God, the Groyper, blah, 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 take over. That's good. I welcome that. I want more like of those far right people hanging out of my chat because one, I know they're not going to be as extreme here. Two, they're going to be exposed to jokes, humors, and ways of socializing that aren't as like politically extreme. And three, fuck, there was a third one. Oh fuck, I just forgot. I just slipped my mind. I just read something else in chat that triggered me, and I didn't ban the person. I should have banned the person. Whatever. Those 2 points are enough. Yeah, getting them out of their communities into my chats and everything. Like, yeah, it gives them like other communities to like be a part of and show that like you don't have to be crazy, blah blah blah. But yeah, I think all of that like was positive. That was kind of like the idea or the goal is to like that kind of like relentless positivity. But this idea of like Fuentes was sanitized by Steven and the DGG versus Groyper conversion zero-sum game idea was wrong and irrelevant. MrGirl doesn't know how to have these conversations. He doesn't know how to talk to people that disagree with him in almost any way whatsoever. He has a really big problem understanding any other point of view besides his own. And when confronted with evidence or logics that show that he might be incorrect, he has self-reinforcing ways of making it so he never has to listen to any of that critique. So he is the worst type of person to have these types of conversations, and probably one of the last people's criticism that I cared to have in my head regarding these conversations. The problem with Fuentes was never that he was sanitized. The problem with Fuentes is that he's been demonized for so long that people don't view his beliefs that a human being can have. There must be like a video game Or like the Pirates of the Caribbean, where like in order to destroy somebody, you have to humanize them first. My goal isn't to destroy Fuentes. I just want to show that like all of us are people at the end of the day. Like people can have like different beliefs and opinions, and some might even be really fucked up. But it's important to understand that at the end of the day, it's all just normal people. There's nothing extra special about Fuentes. The dude's like fucking 23 years old. The problem is that people can't argue against what he believes. Sure, but like let's see like what happened. Okay, I was right. Fuentes was Steven. The zero-sum game, blah blah blah, was irrelevant. What happened when he went on to No Jumper? Like, did he magically turn the entire audience into Nazis? Like, it didn't happen. The whole audience like rebelled against him. Like all of them hated the fuck out of everything that he said, right? Like it's not like he went and all of a sudden like, oh my god, No Jumper's audience are like full fucking Nazis now. No, the people fucking hated him. It was insane. Even without Adam being like the best type of platformer for those conversations, because I haven't even watched it yet, to be honest, but apparently it was very, very, very challenging. I say challenging, they just did bad. But yeah, so yeah, I don't know. There are a couple of big like posters on, they have like a forum on, I'm not going to say the site, but they have a forum where they communicate against themselves, and they have like thought leaders that like talk about things going on and blah, blah, blah. And it was interesting because a lot of like the larger posters on the sub seemed to understand that I was coming at things in as good faith as possible. And it was interesting too, because there was a huge analysis that one of them had written up. I think his name's Andrew. I don't remember. I have to go back and find out about how basically like the recent spat with Destiny like retroactively shows that Fuentes' huge deplatforming arc with Ethan Ralph was like a huge mistake for the community, that it was limiting the growth and blah, blah, blah. So yeah, it seemed like parts of their community, or at least the bigger figures, were kind of understanding what was going on, even if they ultimately wouldn't have agreed with me politically or whatever. But yeah. What are you going to do? Nick was already bigger than you? Absolutely not. I'm 99% sure that the numbers on his on that website are probably inflated. I don't put much stock in it, but even Paul hates Fuentes. It wouldn't surprise me. I haven't read the politics board now. I'm like 85% sure that Nick is gay after reading through a lot of their forums too. At first it was like 30%, then it went down to like 5%, and now I'm at like 85%. I think he actually is, which is extra sad, just because of everything going on in his life and everything. But I mean, what are you gonna do? Oh, I also I don't know if after hanging out with him and getting a feel for him and everything too, nobody will ever believe me, but I'm pretty sure. Just because I think this bridge is totally fucking nuked. Yeah, XYZ, those pictures are weird. If you were to hold a gun to Nick's head and try to get him to espouse his true actual political beliefs, I think that he's actually way more center right than he comes off as. I think there's a lot of audience capture that exists there, but it feels like he's traveled enough around and he's talked to enough people that I don't actually know if he can be as far right as he comes off as stream, which is funny because I think people have the impression that he's actually way further right and he's moderated himself for a stream, but I don't think so. I think he plays up some of the far right stuff for the stream because he kind of has to. I think that he's like had a lot of experiences in life and he's gone through some things where it's like there's only so many people that you can meet and there's only so many things you can do for you to have like in my opinion, most really racist, backwards, far right beliefs usually just come from being in a very restrictive environment for a long period of time. It's actually super easy to understand why somebody could hate LGBT people, why somebody could be racist, et cetera, if you grew up your whole life never seeing any of them. But that's I mean, I can never prove that, but yeah, I don't know. What nuked the bridge? Something behind the scenes. Well, now I feel like I have to come out and say and speak to everything because now like MrGirl was trying to like run victory laps on my subreddit about his Fuentes analysis, which is fucking god awful. And and Fuentes' treatment of me is so bad. I don't understand. That's something he'll have to learn and grow. Not to sound like not to be too self-aggrandizing, But like Fuentes should be worshiping me because I am literally I was the only lifeline that he had to like being able to breach like mainstream political conversations. Like I represented a huge potential opportunity to him, and he just was so bad faith in the way that he treats me. It's unbelievable. I don't know why the fuck you would do that. Like he should have been so conciliatory towards me. And I'm not looking for that. I'm not asking him to be my bitch or anything. But for him to be like relentlessly bad faith against me all the time, like, bro, who the fuck are you? Like I can put you on a stream in front of 14,000 people. Like I'm giving you your phone number to like Adam22 so you can go to a show. Why the fuck would you like burn my shit so hard? Like you're so stupid. But again, like all of that risk is non-existent. I know that there are some people now who are thinking that like, oh no, like Fuentes is going to get huge off the No Jumper shit. No, he's not. He has no social media presence anywhere. Like he's been destroyed. Like he's not growing. It's not going to happen. Yeah. Same thing with Keffels. I called that too. I think she'll be done. I don't think she'll be done streaming in a few months, but like her concurrent viewership is going to be less than 500. Like she's gone too. Yeah, but you know. Do you think he does it as a signal to his audience? He can't be too friendly with you. I have no idea. I think actually, honest to God, I don't think there's a lot of. I think that in some ways, I think Fuentes is simultaneously like smarter than the average person, but he's still very much like a young kid, like a 24-year-old or whatever the fuck he is. And I see the mistakes that he's making are still very much like a young man's mistakes, but he's like trying to be like the leader of a political movement at the same time. So it's yeah, it's a challenging line for him to walk. Like, I don't think he's strategically thinking like, I need to push back against Destiny because of blah, blah, blah to showcase to my community. I don't think he's thinking that at all. I think that what he's worried about is he just doesn't want to look bad, and he feels like I'm kind of a jerk to him sometimes. So he wants to like hit back, basically. I think that's it. I think it's as simple as that. Do you want us to still see some say? Do you want us to still see some say some? See something, say something. Oh, do you still want to? Hold on, I'm doxing you. I'm gonna find out what country you live in. Yeah, I swear to God, you better not be in the fucking Western Hemisphere, or I'm fucking permabanning you for this sentence. Okay, you got a slide, but barely, and only because I hate Republicans. Okay. Do you still want us to see something, say something regarding Keffels, or completely stop engaging? Always see something, say something. Okay. Always see something, say something. You see wrong shit, say something about it. That's it. Don't be mean. Don't bully people. Don't harass people. But if you see something, say something. Okay. I think Fuentes sees you through the lens of 2018 when you run around and shit on everything that's right. He can't accept that you want to have different conversations now. I think he's constantly expecting you to jump on him like you did that. No, I don't think he should. I've shown enough good faith, or I had shown enough good faith that he shouldn't want to do that, but. Why is the Nick bridge burnt, or is it? I'm just tired of like, I treated that kid with like so much good faith and so much charity. More than anybody, even half my size, would ever extend to him, ever. And for him to constantly like, just be bad faith and shitting me back, it's like, what the fuck? Why, bro? Like, everybody has their limits, and to some point I'm like, fuck you. Maybe in a year or two we'll check in on him and see how he's doing. But like, there's just no reason for me, like, there's no reason for me to deal with it. Like, why? Can we please keep some of these emotes the way they are now? No, they're for Halloween only, okay? That'd be like asking if we could have the McRib year-round, okay? Goodbye, stream. Oh my goodness.
Destiny, are you a Jake Pauler?
No, why?
You're extra savage today, man.
I can't help it, dude.
What is this? Why?
I wish I could be Jake Paul sometimes.
So
you know?
dark.
Like, I had these dreams all the time that I walk through that forest and I see you hanging there.
Oh my god! What? Why did I say that? I'm just. Oh, that was someone else on the mic. That wasn't me, guys. That wasn't me. It was a different me.